Buffs Nation, the hype is real. It appears that everybody's starting to take note of what Colorado has as weapons. And we all know with Shedeur Sanders dropping his most recent track, he may have dropped some bars, but he's probably not concerned about anybody dropping the ball. Because on threes, Jesse Simonton dropped a top 10 wide receiver groups in college football. And of course, the Buffs is on that list. So we've got to take a look at this list and understand where the Buffs rank and why they're there. And then outside of that, talk about just the greatness that may be coming down the line. So let's take a look at that here on the Prime Time for College Football. And so we're not going to bury the lead. We're going to jump right into it. Jesse over there on three gave us his top 10 wide receiver groups in college football. And of course, as you can see here, the Buffs made it at number 10. Now, he's listed, y'all, Ohio State 1 with Oregon 2, Texas 3, Ole Miss 4, Missouri 5, Georgia 6, Miami 7th, LSU 8, Oklahoma at 9, and Colorado at 10. What really jumped out to me is it's all Big Ten and SEC schools with the mix of the ACC of Miami and Colorado being the lone school out of the Big 12. And rightfully so. I'm going to be honest. When I saw it, I was like, Colorado probably should be a little bit higher than that. Wide receiver room is good. You got the best two-way player, period, in college football with Travis Hunter leading that room. And you know that his numbers are going to do nothing but go up this coming season, especially if he stays healthy. But then you're adding with him Jimmy Horn Jr., who had a really good year, as well as Amarion Miller. So you got three veteran wide receivers coming back who have played with Shedeur Sanders and have comfort with playing with him. And so from there, you're bringing in some solid playmakers from the portal. You got Will Shepard, who was at Vanderbilt, as well as LeJontay Wester out of Florida Atlantic. And so that's a 5 wide receiver room that, to be honest, can rival anybody out there. And so when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, when I'm going through all of these rooms, statistically, they're bringing back some of the more experienced, the guys with the most yards and continuity from their quarterback. Because, I mean, of course, you know, you've got Oregon bringing in a new quarterback. You've got Texas, who's bringing in all new wide receivers, right? Ole Miss got some continuity there with Jackson Dart. Missouri still has all their wide receivers, so honestly thought they would be a little bit higher, but I do like where Colorado sits here in this situation because Shedeur is going to have to do a lot. But the good thing is his wide receivers are going to make life a lot easier for him than he would for most. And so seeing that the recognition is there, it's telling us that the target is going to be on the Buffs' back. Outside of the fact that everybody's been taking shots at Coach Prime the last few days, we knew that, you know, there's going to be shots that people are going to be, got a target on his back and people are coming after him. But the good thing is that the Buffs should be prepared. They'll be ready, right? With the way this room sits, there's no reason why the Buffs can't go out there and show out this coming season. And so that's some exciting stuff. The hype is rising, right? The hype is rising up. Jump in the comments. Let me know how y'all feeling about what the Buffs are doing. We've got a few players that have also committed over the last few days. And so we're going to play some catch up on some transfers and ones that you guys really need to know about. So let's take a look at a couple of these transfers that have come through. That way you are prepared for next season. First and foremost, on the defensive side, got to keep bolstering up the linebacker room. That was an emphasis for Coach Hart, as well as Coach Prime mentioning going into the portal season. So you got the transfer Johnny Chaney Jr. out, was it Florida A&M? Solid linebacker, brings great experience to the room. And 6'2", about 230 is what he's listed at. So he's nice size. Definitely something you can't complain about. And he can ball, if you want me to be honest, right? I think last season played in 13 games. He's a two-time all-conference guy. 73 total tackles. He put up, 7.5 tackles for a loss there. And so, and then as a sophomore, he had like 55 total tackles with 4 tackles for a loss and half a sack. So he's been producing ever since, you know, even when he was young, a young pup in his day, I guess you could say. And it didn't take long for him to make the commitment, right? I saw that Wilt Fong over there at On 3 was going to drop a Fong bomb, or he put in a prediction for him to be a Buff, and he hadn't been there very long, right? Basically 6 hours into being there at Colorado, he went ahead and committed. which is pretty huge and a very testament of what Coach Prime and them are doing. And so he has a year left of eligibility. And like I said, he brings in a veteran presence out there to what the Buffs are trying to do. He's actually, he's pretty solid, right? I watched a little bit of his film and I was like, okay. He has some really good awareness. He knows how to get to the ball, and he's going to disrupt. And that's what's going to be needed going into the Big 12. The Big 12 is infamous for having these high pace, high octane offenses. Most of your innovation in college football came from the Big 12's offenses or whatnot. And this guy knows, he gets it. He's really good in space, really good at blitzing, good at getting to the quarterback, and like I said, being very disruptive. And if you're going to put together one of the top defenses in college football, this is the way for the Buffs to do it. They're going to have to put some guys like this out there on the field. And so from him, the Buffs did not stop on getting defensive players that are going to be able to contribute, right? Next commitment you got is Ivan Yates, safety at Furman College. Down there, a couple of FCS guys. Now, I want y'all to keep this in mind when I talk about these caliber of players, right? He's coming in, and if I'm understanding, he has, let me look at my notes, 2 years left of eligibility. But this is the one thing about it. If you're pulling guys up from like FCS and things of that nature, it's kind of like grabbing a guy from JUCO, right? Nobody complains about getting JUCO guys because JUCO guys usually are really good. They more so have whatever reason that, grades or just need a little bit more experience. They're usually solid contributors to the game. Same thing with your FCS guys, right? We've seen what other schools have done in the transfer portal with them. This is when you get some of those guys here. So he comes in, nice size, sitting at 6 foot, about 180, veteran presence. He's giving you 2 years left of eligibility. And he's one of those that I think day one will be able to contribute. Got to make sure you boast up the secondary, especially with so many players coming in and out from the transfer portal. So I'm excited about this one, right? This is one that's going to be able to help make sure that room is shored up, ready to go going into the season. And so with all the moving parts, we'll break down who's in, who's out, and who you need to know about for the Buffs. So please hop in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about some of these players. How do you feel about the team now? Are you sensing that things are stabilizing and Coach Prime has found the caliber players needed to be successful? I would love to hear from you in the comments. And if you make it this far and like the content, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. So also here on the screen, we talked about the early lines that came down from DraftKings. Feel free to check that out. Fun video to talk about. 5 games came out and we gave you our predictions on them, just kind of what Vegas is thinking about and DraftKings. So check that out here on the screen now, and we'll drop some more videos soon. You have a good one.